Hi everyone. A few weeks ago, Thames Mudlark and author Jason Sandy came to visit me in my studio and recorded a little interview. Jason and another Thames Mudlark, Nick Stevens, have got together to co-author a book called Thames Mudlarking, Searching for London's Lost Treasures, which includes loads of superb photographs and information about Thames finds by the London mudlarking community. I've got some of my finds in there too, and it's all very exciting. So I wanted to share this little interview with you, and I hope you enjoy it.
As you look across the River Thames today, it is quiet and serene. Although it's hard to imagine now, the River Thames in London used to be the largest port in the world back in the 18th and 19th centuries. Thousands of boats and ships of all shapes and sizes used to dock along the river to load and unload cargo arriving from around the globe. Since the 19th century, mudlarks have searched the exposed foreshore at low tide, hunting for lost objects. Nicola White has found some extraordinary historical artifacts over the past 15 years. She recently invited me to visit her studio in East London to see her mudlarking collection and artwork. So today I'm here visiting Nicola White in her home studio, and there she is, ready to open the door for us as we walk into her beautiful studio.
Hi Jason, welcome to my studio.
Looking around Nicola's studio, I can't believe how much she's found over the past 15 years. It's simply mind-blowing to think that all of these objects were lost in the river until Nicola discovered them and retrieved them. The artifacts are so diverse and span over 2,000 years of London's history, from early Roman pottery to modern plastic toys. I especially like the historic bottles of all different shapes and sizes, which have been embossed with company names like Harrods Stores. Nicola has literally found thousands of plastic toys washed up on the riverbank over the past few years. So this evening I'm here with Nicola White, and I'm very excited to be in her studio for the first time. And she's got a magnificent backdrop, and even behind us is her workstation for all of the amazing glass fish that she makes. So, Nicola, I just wanted to ask you a few questions. How long have you been mudlarking now?
Well, I kind of drifted into mudlarking before I knew it was a thing, but I think if I could, about 15 years, I suppose, about 15 years. It was shortly after I moved to London from Cornwall, and I found myself down on the Thames foreshore picking up bits of pottery and glass, and then found my first coin. But yeah, I'd say around about 15 years or so.
Okay. And I heard that you quit your full-time job to go mudlarking, or what are you actually doing now?
Well, I wouldn't say that I quit it to go mudlarking. That would be a nice thought, but I wouldn't really be able to survive on just mudlarking. So I've been combining it with one of my other passions, which is creating objects with found items such as glass mostly, and also driftwood, bits of metal, making assemblages out of them. And I just love the idea of creating something with found objects, lost, forgotten objects, sort of turning them into something beautiful.
Impressive. And what was the first kind of mudlarking find that hooked you, that kind of kept you going back?
I think when I first found a coin, and it wasn't a particularly old coin, I hadn't realised that was something that was possible to find on the foreshore. So that I was very, very excited about. I remember shrieking with absolute delight, and then I went down and started to find other things. I think one of my favourite finds, which really, for me, sort of encapsulates the whole essence and joy of mudlarking, is the little tag I found with a soldier's name on it. And then I was able to research him and find out that he went to Australia and fought in World War I. And it's just that idea that a small piece of metal can open up a whole story, and those remain my favourite finds, just bringing back to life for a bit of time, you know, a person from the past. I think that is just the best ever.
Yeah, I can imagine. And I heard that you found a very interesting find in Greenwich, which caused the evacuation of nearby houses. Can you tell us about that find?
Yeah, I did. Now that was back in, it was either 2015 or 2016. I stumbled across a grenade.
Wow.
A hand grenade.
From what, World War II? Or?
It was World War II. It was a Mills bomb, I believe, probably issued to the Home Guard during World War II. It looked like a tiny little pineapple, and I'd seen one before, so I knew that's what it was. So I called the police, and they came down and they verified that it was in fact a hand grenade, and it still had the pin in it that wasn't pulled. So then they called the ordnance squad, and that was very exciting. They came along like action men and detonated it, and they shut the River Thames for a little while, and it was quite exciting watching the whole process, and it was quite amusing as well, because the next day, or a couple of days later, the newspaper said, grenade exploded and woke up half of Greenwich. And it was quite funny because it was about 8:30, 9 at night, so I was thinking, well, I'm sure they weren't all in bed at that time. But yeah, it was quite alarming to see how loud the explosion was.
Yeah, did it break any glass in the neighbouring buildings?
The way that they did it, I think they put it somewhere where it was likely not to break any glass, but it was a huge bang, and in fact I did film it, so I've got it on video, and it really does, the whole place shook.
Forward!
So I've come here tonight to see a couple of the interesting things that are actually going to appear in the new Mudlarking book. And you have, I think, 3 things that have been incorporated, and one of those things is actually several clay pipes. But I wanted to ask you about the message in a bottle story. Can you tell us about that interesting find?
Yes, now I think it was in about 2013 that I found a message in a bottle on the Thames estuary, which is always exciting, finding a message in a bottle, because you just never know what's going to be in there. But this particular one was from a little boy called Jack, and on reading it, it said, I wish I was a Dino Thunder Power Ranger, the Red Ranger from Jack. And so I took a photo of it and put it on Twitter, and it was retweeted a lot of times. Amazingly, we found Jack, the little boy, and consequently sent him a Red Ranger Power Ranger outfit, and he then sent me back a card with a photo of himself in his Power Ranger outfit. So it was quite magical, because I think for a child to throw a wish in a river and then actually get it back is quite magical.
Yeah, I absolutely love that story. And if you remember, just a few months ago, I posted that on Instagram, and then you got a couple of responses from who?
Yeah, that was incredible. After you posted it on your Instagram, I was actually contacted by the actual real Queen, I think it's the Wicked Queen in the Power Ranger film, who then told the real Red Ranger actor about it. And then he contacted me as well and said, tell me about this child. So that was just incredible. It just goes to show, doesn't it, these things happen, and they have really magical outcomes.
Yeah, absolutely. What a story.
Yeah, I mean, Jack's now obviously got to be maybe about 16 now, so he's probably grown out of his Power Ranger outfit, if not his Power Ranger obsession. But even so, that was such a lovely thing to happen, to be contacted by them. Who knew that they were mudlarking fans?
I know, exactly. And I think you're going to take the Queen mudlarking whenever she comes to London.
With Daryl Hannah, the Splash.
Oh yeah, exactly.
The Splash actress.
Wow.
So I'm like, come on down.
Fantastic. That'll be quite the adventure. Great. So Nicola, I've heard that you have an amazing clay pipe collection. I can see it over there in the box. What are the favorite pipes that you found in the Thames?
It's so hard to choose my favorite pipes, Jason. I've got a lovely collection here. Now, what shall I start with? I think I do love the claw pipes. I've got several different claw pipes, and this one here is a really elaborate one. Well, it's like a dragon's talon, I think, clutching an egg. And then this one here, the eagle claw ones. So these lovely claw pipes. I also love this one. It's just got a beautiful horse head underneath there for the heel, and if you look at it closely you can see the mane in great detail, and it just goes to show how exquisitely creative these pipe makers were. It's always a bit of a delight pulling one out of the mud. It's like having a Christmas present wrapped in mud. I've also got a lovely collection of Turk's head pipes here, which were no doubt enjoyed over a cup of coffee in a coffee house, probably in the early 19th century. Their little faces with the turbans there. I've got about 5 of those, I think. I love this one. It's a little dog's head. And another favourite of mine is this Louis Fiolet, a very prominent French pipe maker. This lovely soldier's head here, and it's got his maker's mark on the stem here, and it would have had a replaceable little pipe that would have been inserted into there. So that's lovely, and it still has the remains of some enamel kind of paint on it. Also, one of my favourite ones is another Louis Fiolet pipe, a French pipe maker from the 19th century, and this one is extremely creative. It is a woman sitting on a toilet with her skirts hitched up. Again, there's still some paint left on it. You can see her legs there, her little arms, hitching up her skirts, sitting on the toilet. What more can I say? I'm sure that the person who smoked this was the envy of all their friends. Think of it what you will. So I'm going to show you one of my longest pipes now. It's always a thrill to pull a long pipe out of the mud. Sometimes the stem just keeps coming and coming. And this one was actually broken in situ, but I got the 2 pieces and managed to stick them together with a little piece of wire. So it's a lovely long pipe. You can't help wondering how the person even managed to smoke it. But there you go, that's one of my favourites. And I have another one here which is so delicate. It's got a lovely little kind of delicate bend in the pipe there. It's also got a lovely maker's mark and a very nice design around the bowl. So that one was just lying on top of the mud. It was like a present. It was such a surprise. So this little onion bottle here has got to be one of my star finds. It was poking out of the mud. I could just see the neck and I thought it was just a fragment of bottle, but when I started to look a little further I realised that there were several pieces in the mud, so I collected them all up and brought them home, about 7 pieces, and then stuck it all together. And it is a little tiny onion bottle which dates to about 1690, and I love to imagine somebody walking along with their little bottle of wine or brandy, and it's just perfect. It's like a perfect little onion shape. You can see why it would be called an onion bottle.
It has been a real treat to visit Nicola's studio and see her fascinating collection of historical artifacts, which she has found in the Thames over the past 15 years. To read about some of the best mudlarking finds, you can order our book called Thames Mudlarking, Searching for London's Lost Treasures, which Nick Stevens and I wrote about the fascinating objects found in the River Thames. The book is packed with over 150 colored photographs of the historical artifacts found by over 50 mudlarks. These extraordinary objects recovered from the river tell the incredible story of London and its inhabitants over the past 2,000 years. You can purchase a copy of the book on Amazon, Kobo, and most online bookstores.